Uh, Welcome, and it's good afternoon. Welcome to my presentation. In this presentation, I'll be doing kind of evaluation of my program, which I have been developed for 81. The program I developed for 81 was for grade 9, where the student will be looking at the international trade as in from Australia. They're going to look at what is our current status, and based on current status, they would be forecasting what actions and uh, strategies we can take. So I'm Chowdhury Hossan. Generally, I use my last name Hossan because that's easier. Uh, so let's begin our presentation. So again, a little bit of background. So this is not about presenting my program that I have developed in 81. It is more about evaluating the program. So this is kind of outline of the program. As you can see in this presentation, I'll be looking at four things. We're gonna talk about teaching quality issues, what is happening in the current situation, what are the recent literatures talking about. We're gonna also talk about a little bit of record keeping. I decided to talk more about practical aspect of record keeping in the schools. Then I will move to the feedback, where I got a feedback from assessors of 81 and also my colleagues. I'm supposed to get only one feedback from my peers, but I was lucky to get three. So I look at that feedback, and finally, in the conclusion, I'll be coming up with some tools that I think I should be incorporated in my program in future. I want to draw your attention on the circle you see in the middle. This is a framework of quality of teaching taken from VACC, Victoria Assessment and Curriculum Treatise, BCCA. This is actually main guideline for us who are looking at for improving our program, quality of teachings, and all this. I'm not going to go through all these things, but the reason for putting it at the front, and so we keep that in our background, that student achievement, engagement, and well-being is center to everything we do. Now, what is the characteristics of quality of teaching and learning program? Now, if you look at the history, this program is been, the quality word has been always changing. We call it ever evolving things. What is been considered high quality before, no longer high quality now. I can remember in my school age, which is early 80s, memorization of information is considered to be high quality. The one who can memorize maximum, remember maximum, gets the highest mark. We call it photogenic memory. But there's been significant change now. Let's look at what the changes. Now, this program was developed for grade 9, or we can call middle year programs. There's different definitions, like process says age 10 to 15. In Australia, generally, we consider middle years from grade 7, which is the beginning for secondary school, up to grade 10. So this program, one I developed, was for grade 9. Now, what happened in the recent world in terms of education and need in the market? Because what education does, they prepare them, our young generations, youngsters, for the job markets and working environment they're going to go. There's been a significant change. As Glinson clearly says, the global knowledge economy has been shifted. From where? From content knowledge, which was my childhood, memorizing as much information as I can do, from there to the competency. Okay, so what does it mean? People doesn't care how much you memorize. I remember when I was young, I was memorizing the capital of the country called Chad, which is in Africa, which till today I haven't gone there, nothing to do, but we had to memorize that. It's been gone now. Now what are we looking at? Curriculum becoming less concerned about the content itself, but giving more importance in terms of skills, competency on what? One, economic, technical, and public interest matters. So that's the fundamental change that has been happened, and we call it 21st century skills. Like Ibrahim says, that all the policymakers, academicians, educators identify some skills which are critical for the survival, which can develop our competency. For example, critical thinking skill, creativity skill, metacognitions, problem-solving skill, teamwork, motivation, self-efficacy, awareness, and digital technology, and so on. Now, if we have a graduate who knows all the books, all Wikipedia in your head, doesn't have that skills, probably not much demandable in terms of work economy. So what is the solution? Solution been there, as you can see, but it was not getting importance until the economy has changed and the focus for competition has changed. For example, experiential learning theory already say that this is the education is a cycle where you have 4 stages. You have an experience, you reflect on that experience, that how you can improve. From there, you move to thinking, and you come up with a better actions. And it's a cycle. So that newly developed actions, you experience again, reflect, and it's an ever-changing cycle. It goes on and on. Now, how are we going to do that as a teacher? So in this case, if you look at, we teachers have a role to play. We can use, as suggested by Biggs and Tang, constructive alignment approach, where instead of focusing what I'm going to teach today to the students, what are the chapters I'm be covering, we focus on intended learning outcome. So what constructive alignment require is using high level of generic verbs like consider, hypothesis, track lessons in complex problems, and come up with the novel solutions. So how much content I'm delivering, that's a secondary issue. What is the primary issue? Primary issue is how I want to see my students walk out from the class with the learnings. And one of the important part for this is the reflection. Okay, so this is what constructive learning. So you start with the learning objective, then you design all the activities to meet that objective, and obviously you ended up with the assessment. So to see that, now once you have the assessment, you go back, and here reflections plays a very important role. Why? Because reflections is a critical part of applied learning. This is often been overlooked. John Dewey, very early educationist back in New York, he said, we don't learn from experience, we learn from our reflection of the experiences, which is basically actively we think what we have done, what has been achieved, and how it could be done better. So I need to reflect myself. Please excuse me, I was told that presentation should be between 10 to 15 minutes. I'm running on 8 minutes already, so I'll be going a little faster and skipping some of the things. So for business teaching, which is my area, I believe that inquiry-based learning is the best approach. So what happened in the inquiry-based learning? You ask a questions, then you investigate, then you create your knowledge, you discuss that and reflect on it. Then you ask another questions. So basically, instead of going for a developed content, you start with a questions to answer. Now, where do you get the questions from? If you look at the word inquire, that tells you. So what you do, you investigate your surrounding, and surrounding will tell you, look, these are the issues. From the issues, you narrow the focus, the one you want to look at, and you ask the question on that particular issue. Now you know your content, area, scope. Now you do the uncover it, which is you, and then you do your initial action, what to do, you do the research, and you come up with your results. That's how inquiry-based learning works better. The reason I said business field in IBL would be the best, because nothing absolute true in business. What we think today is perfect, tomorrow is a fail. We have companies we thought they are the role models best. We've come up, you can't do that. Okay, so and of course, we need to make sure we look at the standard for diversity teaching. Now, let's move another issue of quality of teaching, which is the classroom demographic. Now, classroom is more diverse. I remember when we were young, teaching philosophies was indiscriminate, standard teachings, fairness, equality for everyone, same benchmark, same standards. That has been changed. Look at today's classroom. Students are more diverse, learning styles are different, ability, need, all are different. So you can't fit one size for all. That's what these literatures are saying. So you can't treat them all. If you treat them all, that means you are neglecting the diversity needs. So what do you need to do? If you look at the picture one, this is about equality and indifference treatment, which has been on the place for past. Everyone got the same box, but you got a different height. So if you look at the little one, he actually can't see the game because you're given the same platform. But that's where the diversity of instructions, where the blue shirt tall boy doesn't need a box, whereas the purple boy, because of the height, he needs a double box. But what happens? We achieve similar outcome. All of them can enjoy the game. Now, if you Google up, when I did Google up on the differentiation of teaching, I found a lot of negative things from the teachers forum. People say, do I need to make 20 different lesson plan for 20 different students? Stop now. So we don't do that. What we need is differentiation and teaching. And Carol is the best to talk about that. Limited time, I'm not going to all that. He's saying you don't need a 20 different lesson plan. Same lesson plan, you can vary based on the content. You can vary the process you're doing. You can vary the assessment. Different people can do different assessments. Or you can just differentiate the learning environment. Some people like to work in a group. Let them. Some people like to work alone. Let them that too. So by doing that, in the same lesson plan, what you do, you accommodate all of them. Okay? So this is the most important to understand. Differentiated learning is a need because of the different students' characteristics now we got. But it doesn't mean you are treating them unequally, but all you're doing, you're giving a required attentions based on the need. Let's move to the third dimensions where you have the record keeping. I'm already on 12 minutes, so I'm going to really fast. Now, record keeping is covered in the ITSL Standard 5, where it is mandatory. And in fact, in Victoria, every teacher must report twice every year. Okay? And that reporting must include his judgment, indication of progress, and a 5-point scale. This is a must compulsory requirement of teachers. Let's look at some of the reporting things we need. What we can do. In digital reporting, we can use assessment summary report like this that provides an overall indication of student performance within the curriculum. So in this curriculum, how students are doing. Also, we can, now once we get the curriculum overall performance, we might be interested about more detailed analysis. In that case, we can do items response summary. So here, item wise, you try to see how a particular student is doing, where he is doing better, where he is not doing enough. For the differentiation, I found this groupment chart is the best, where we can group students where they are all together is really doing great. Also, we can do we can look at from the content wise, where most of the students are the best, where most of the and a majority of the students are facing challenge, and based on that we can changes our focus and support among the students. Also, we can see the result over a time for a student group. That's called class report. We can use it, like how they did in a term 1 and term 2, and then we can compare. These are some of the major formal assessment records that's available in DAL, which is digital record. I'm really running short. So we can use also, other than formal record, we can use incidental record. But we try to be more reliable and accurate on our record. There's no compromise on that. It has to be accurate. It has to be reliable. Now, question can come, is NC doctoral report can be reliable? Well, that's a debatable issue. But what you do, like an example, you try to put a note as objectively as you can. But one thing is absolutely no chances that it has to be accurate, because record is about life of someone. We can't make mistakes. Really running out of time. So these are the feedbacks I received from assessors, and these are feedbacks I received from my peers. There's certain familiarities among the report. For example, in both groups, they said I need to look at more differentiation things among the teachings. I also need to look at more about how students perform over the time. So therefore, I think my program could be improved with adding some tools like KWL to understand the pure knowledge of the students, and that gives me an idea who is in what level. Also, I need some tools to get my lessons and teaching approach. I can use PMI chart like plus, minus, interest. And at the end, I need to get an exit ticket to understand how the delivered or intended learning outcome has been achieved. Okay, applied learning, yes, I need to include more. For example, incursion, excursions, you go there. Students with the special needs to be catered. I'm not sure how to do that because I haven't done any course on it, but hope to get something in my future semesters. It is important linking formative assessment into the lesson plan. Finally, differentiations. It has to be there. And these are some of the techniques we can use for differentiations. Not necessarily all of them I have to do it, one or two, but important is it has to be adopted. Sorry, I'm running on 17. They said they will fall in sleep if I go there, so I'm finishing. That's the references I use. Really, thank you for watching. It means so much. Couldn't do much because of the time, but hope you enjoy my record presentation. Thank you.